What is going on, guys? It's Reflex here, and yes, I realize I haven't uploaded in the past week, and I'll explain everything in my next video. But today's video I wanted to get out solely for the purpose of bringing you guys my Kingdom Hearts 3 review. Now, I have already beaten the game and everything. Now, I do not know if this is going to be a spoiler review or not, or spoiler free, because this is going to be raw and unedited, but I would just say safe bets. If you have not beaten the game, I suggest not watching this, because more than likely I'm going to be speaking on terms of the epilogue and certain parts in the story that I might have liked or disliked, as well as the stuff in the secret movie. So if you guys have not beat the game, I suggest not watching this until after you do so, if you want to hear my thoughts, that is. If you don't care, then you're probably not watching this video. But yes, this is going to be full, like, raw and uncut. I'm not gonna, edit anything out, because this is just solely me, a Kingdom Hearts fan, talking my piece on Kingdom Hearts 3. And I gotta say, this game is by far my favorite game in this series, and it hit everything so right for me. Now obviously it did have its issues, and I'll get into those later, but starting off with the story, I enjoyed every single minute of the story. The thing that I was most concerned about coming into this game was the fact of, is this crazy ass story, is Nomura going to be able to pull off it and make it, to where he ties all the loose ends? And he did so. But that doesn't mean he did so without opening a few doors to the next game, which he did. He talked about that in an interview in the past, and we all expected that. But the main thing I was concerned about is he going to be able to close the door to the Xehanort Saga, close every single door possible, and he did. I mean, honestly, if you think about it in terms of that saga alone, because I don't consider, the Masters and Lucia and that whole deal, I don't consider that a part of the Xehanort Saga. Like, they had pieces that were involved in this whole Xehanort Saga, but they're kind of in their own arc on their own, in my opinion. Like that whole box situation. Yes, it was a part of Kingdom Hearts 3, but as you guys seen from the secret ending, well, the epilogue, we actually seen, the identity behind Lucia, which was Xigbar, which I freaking freaked out about. Which my Let's Play, hold on, let me get a little plug into this. But my Let's Play will start of Kingdom Hearts 3 probably in the next few days. And I know it's going to be a little bit late, and it's kind of weird that I'm doing a review on Kingdom Hearts 3 before I even started my Let's Play. But just know, it's already fully recorded. I already beaten it and everything. I already did the secret boss and everything you can look forward to. So just look forward to that. It should start in the next few days if I got time, which that's the biggest issue with uploading, is the time constraints. And I'll get into that tomorrow. But yes, the epilogue, when I seen that Lucia's identity finally got revealed, I wasn't surprised. I honestly wasn't surprised, but it did open the door to the next game as well as the secret ending. And that was the thing, like I said, that I was main concerned about. But I do believe that they closed all loose ends. They honestly hit everything on the head and made sure that we got a nice send-off of the conclusion of the Xehanort Saga. I think they did it perfectly, in my opinion. Now, there's some people that said, I don't like how they dealt with Kairi and Sora and all that. And it's like, while some of that did kind of irritate me as well, at least with the usefulness of Kairi, which there was none. And yeah, you might say, well, she helped, bring Sora back, so she could technically, she's kind of the reason that the whole rest of the Guardians were saved. And it's like, yeah, that might be true, but what else did she do? She can't just be that one person that's just, there and saving people. That's cool and all, but when a game has been kind of like, at least the past few games, is pretty much edging her that she's going to be doing something at least, triumphant in the, I'm not saying she had to defeat Xehanort by herself, but in terms of usefulness, everyone was so much better. I mean, honestly, they're just so much more impactful than her, which kind of irritates me. She's literally like the damsel in distress. She's like Princess Peach at this point, which annoys me, and people are probably going to disagree, but I just think she could have been a lot more impactful than she was. And that was a main issue in my head, is that at the end I thought we were going to get a final scene where Sora and Kairi are just with everyone. But again, Destiny Islands is not a place where you can just have a blast. Like, literally, Riku's the only one back now. Before, it was Kairi was the only one. It all started off where Sora, Riku, and Kairi were all together, and I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 would be the game that would have them all be on the island again, together again. Not like Kingdom Hearts 2, because Kingdom Hearts 2 was kind of short-lived. Like, you didn't see them living happily ever after, because they got a bottle from Mickey that was like, all right, next adventure. I thought this game would be the one where they're just chilling. And of course, that was not the case, and that did irritate me slightly. But the story, like I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. Now, the gameplay was a lot of people's everyone was iffy about it, because the attraction flow as well as the difficulty level. Now, on my Let's Play, I'm playing this on Proud, and I've never played a Kingdom Hearts voluntarily on the hardest difficulty. Now, obviously, they'll probably release Critical in the final mix DLC add-on that they'll do, but I've never voluntarily played it on the hardest difficulty because it's not that I'm afraid to, because I like playing Dark Souls and all that. I like a challenge. I like playing games that will piss you off and all sorts of stuff, but I decided to do it this time around because people have said that Proud Mode is still pretty difficult sometimes, and it should be, but I played it, never played difficult, like kind of difficulty on Kingdom Hearts, and it was weird because it just felt easy. And don't get me wrong, I died a couple times, but I don't think I died because of the difficulty of the game, but mainly because on standard and all that, when I'm not like, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, if I'm just trying to have a blast and, you know, just beat the crap out of everything, I'm just tapping X and, you know, every once in a while gardening. You know, it depends on the boss, but normally I'm just tapping X and I'll get greedy. I'll get greedy with, you know, the taps, like, okay, I'm gonna get as many hits as I can, and then I'll get punished and I'll get killed, because even though the difficulty isn't there with, like, in terms of, you know, the gameplay, it's still, if you get greedy, you will get punished, and they do a lot of damage. Even though I gotta say, Donald, he does do some more clutch healing this time around. But yeah, the difficulty was not there. But with that being said, if you do want that difficulty standpoint for now to hold you over until critical mode is added, hopefully that is, but if you do want that, I would suggest doing a level 1 run, because what I've heard is that is pretty much a great holdover until critical mode is added, because it just gives that nice sense of difficulty. I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot of speedrunners as well as a lot of casual fans that just played it and saying that, okay, this is the difficulty that we were wanting and it's fun now. Which, I mean, I never understood the kind of just bashing the game because it wasn't too difficult, because at least for the first playthrough. I mean, I get it maybe in the future, but like the fact that there's things that you can do to make it more difficult, I feel like it was kind of misjudged on that end, because yeah, it wasn't as difficult as I was thinking it was going to be for a person who never played it on a hard difficulty. But at the same time, it's like, it didn't make it a bad game, it just made it feel a little bit easier. The end bosses did feel kind of lackluster at times because of how fast you beat them, but at the same time, I was just like, the gameplay was still fun. The gameplay made you feel overpowered. It made you feel like, I don't know, it just felt like you were actually doing something with Sword. The fluidity of the attacks, how they looked. But with that being said, there is a slight critique of mine that I disliked about the game, and it was the amount of times you could go into an attraction flow. I feel like they should do, I don't know what they have to do, maybe make it to where you earn an attraction flow less often, and maybe even a Keyblade transformation as well, because I can say that in a single fight I can probably do an attraction flow like 7 times, and even a Keyblade transformation I can do it so many times, as well as even the Grand Magic. You can do those several times as well, which can turn the tables of any fight immediately. And say you're having trouble on the boss, couple attraction flows, bang, you probably beat the boss already that you've been struggling with, and that in turn makes you not actually struggle with the boss, if that makes sense. But like, just, I don't know, if they could somehow die down the amount of times you could actually earn that, maybe that'd make it better. But I don't know, the attraction flows were cool though. I mean, they were really cool, but I just don't like, maybe make them do less damage or something, and also maybe bind them to a different button. I don't know, because the amount of times I go to open a chest and then out of nowhere I'm just summoning the Lord Jesus just to open a chest is just ridiculous. Like, legitimately, I remember doing the magic carousel and having a, luckily you can skip the sequence, because if you couldn't, oh my gosh, I'd be kind of pissed. But still, I would just randomly just summon the magic carousel, do the pirate ship, or just any of that while I'm just trying to simply open up a chest. And that was the same thing in Final Fantasy 15 as well. Like, they bound the picking up of an item the same to the jump button, and it was like, why? You just made this so much more difficult than it needs to be, which is annoying. But yeah, other than that, I think the gameplay was pretty sweet. The floatiness, in my opinion, wasn't, well, it was kind of there. They had a little like air lag, but the air combos were just so neat, and you could do other stuff to make it like the floatiness not seem to be there. Like, for instance, there is a actual ability that you can equip to where you can actually kind of ground pound at the end of your combo, which is a combo finisher, which puts you to the ground immediately, and then you can start up your combo again. There's no floatiness there, but just, I think the air combos and everything in general is really, really nice, especially with the like certain keyblades. Like for instance, I like using the Wheel of Fate, I believe that's what it's called, and then the keyblade transformations from there, all of them are just so fun because you go into high wind and you got like that Hailbird style keyblade, which is just freaking amazing. It hits really fast, the air combos are amazing, and it has this like kind of slight sense of the Ultima weapon, which I'll get into later, where you know the end combo, everything rains down. It's like keyblades, or kind of like how the Armature was in Final Fantasy 15. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and it was just really fun and fluid. And then after that is the Storm Flag, which also was a quick kind of keyblade. It just had a lot of attacks to it, and it was also like one of my favorite keyblades was also the Monsters Inc. keyblade. I don't even remember what that is. I think it's like a happy ending or something, which hearing that kind of sounds a little sexual. Hold on a minute. But no, that was one of my other favorites because I like going from that into the Twin Yo-Yo. I didn't really like the other transformation, but still going into the Twin Yo-Yo, that's really when it started getting at least a little bit fun for me. And then the other keyblade, obviously my favorite, is going to be the Ultima weapon. The Ultima weapon, or the Ultima blade, whatever they call it, but the Ultima weapon was so freaking fun. It wasn't hard to get, honestly. Like compared to the other games, this has to be the easiest way to get the Ultima blade. And the way, at least if you're leveled up, or I don't even know, like just I'm pretty sure it would be even useful at level like 30 or maybe even 20 if you can somehow get it at that level. But the freaking weapon does so much damage out of nowhere, it's ridiculous. Like one full combo, like when I was level 50, one full combo on any, like even specifically a boss, it does at least, I'd say, 3 or 4 bars of health, which is crazy, but I think that's needed, honestly, because it's a fully leveled up keyblade. You don't have to level it up, which I was kind of disappointed. I wish they would have made it to where you could level up that keyblade as well to make it even more OP, because with a weapon like that, you kind of want to feel that you can just destroy everything, which is the case since it's already hella strong. But once you go into the ultimate form transformation, oh my gosh, I do not know how much damage you do fully with everything, like if you have like any buffs from like a meal, but all I know is you're doing massive amount of damage with that keyblade, and I could just only imagine how much you do at level 99. Just like goddamn. But it's by far my favorite keyblade. It looks so cool. One aesthetic that I did notice, and some people pointed out on Twitter, is that every Ultimate blade kind of had its own, you know, unique feel throughout the game. Because in Kingdom Hearts 1, the Ultimate weapon had, I think it was 1 blade. Kingdom Hearts 2 it had 2, and in Kingdom Hearts 3 it had 3. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I like the look of it in 3, just for the reason it has the nice red finish that just really looks nice. It honestly looks nice. But like I said, grinding for it isn't too bad. So if you guys want to do that, I suggest doing it, because it is a very fun keyblade to use. The moveset with it is very, very, very fluid and nice. And also, you just feel OP. You honestly feel OP at that point, which obviously when we get post-game content in the future, I'll get into this later, but it will definitely suit as a kind of wreckage keyblade with that. Like if we're gonna face Sephiroth, he's not gonna know what hit him, because little does he know, yeah, we had time to grind for this baby. I realized I didn't even give my score for the story, but for the story I'm giving at least a 9.5. It was great. It does have these little like hints here and there with Kyrie that I was just like kind of dumb, as well as Arendelle was cool, but I just felt like I was watching the movie with Sora, Donald, and Goofy just there, so it didn't do much for me. At least with others, like for instance, even Kingdom of Corona was kind of the same, but slight variation, so it didn't feel that way. But like for Monsters Inc., Toy Story, or even what's Big Hero 6, they were not exactly watching the movie, but one was taking place well, 2 was taking place after, and then the Toy Story World Toy Box, it was taking place in between 2 and 3, I believe. So that's why I felt like those Disney worlds were just amazing. And that's just the only reason why Arendelle kind of felt flat to me, because nothing was really different. It was just simply just the movie kind of, and with the hints of like Organization 13 with Larxene being there, as well as just Sora, Donald, and Goofy tagging along brother, and that just felt like the movie. And that's the reason why that's the only world I didn't like. But 9.5, that's what I'm getting. I think that's a fair score because of those 2 little flaws I didn't like. But as for the gameplay, you know, if you apply the traction flow, the lack of difficulty, even though I don't even think that should be a damper to it, but obviously is, and then maybe, well, I don't know, I mean, there is everything else is kind of good in my opinion. I don't really think there's anything else wrong with it in my opinion. Now keep in mind, these are my opinions. Not everyone's going to agree with them, but I'm giving the gameplay a solid 9 out of 10. I'm giving it a solid 9 out of 10 just for the reason that it was good. It was really fun. But that attraction flow nonsense, just having it there, is kind of like you had to scroll to it, scroll through it a lot because of the fact that it's there every single second. Like say I wanted to use like Fandaza or something, or even have like, oh hey look, Donald's doing something, I want to do that, and then all of a sudden, bam, attraction flow is right there, and it's just like, well, now I gotta scroll through it and waste a little bit extra time, which obviously is just a tap of L2 and then you're there, but still, it's a nuisance more than anything, the amount of times it appears. But yes, I'm gonna give it a 9. Well, actually, let me bump it up to a 9.5. Yeah, we're gonna start off strong with a 9.5 just because thinking about it and thinking about the Ultimate Blade and all the Keyblades, just, I mean, one small detail isn't gonna, you know, damper it that much for me. So yes, 9.5 out of 10. Now next up is post-game content. Now, the thing about this is that there's nothing. There's literally only 2 things that you get from this. One secret boss and what is it, like 13, 14 battle gates. That's it. That's literally it. And yes, there's other things. It depends on what you do after you beat the game, because some people, after they beat the game, then they do the side stuff, but then there's some people that do the side stuff before they beat the game, like how I did it. So really all we had for post game, at least for those type of players, was the battle gates and the secret boss. That was it. And it was kind of like, it felt not unfinished. Obviously there's that whole entire deal where people were saying that the game feels unfinished because of the lack of stuff, but it's like, obviously we knew that there wasn't going to be a whole bunch of stuff. We just thought that for some reason the game would have a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I honestly thought there would be at least 2 or 3 secret bosses in the base game, but I knew they were going to add stuff in the Final Mix DLC. That was an obvious thing that they were going to do, but I thought there would be more. I honestly thought there would be more than just simple 14 battle gates that weren't hard. None of them were hard, but then that secret boss that was a part of the battle gate. So I mean, it's just, I was disappointed in that fact. So for post game content, because there's really nothing else to go along with it, I will give it a 6 out of 10, just because that doesn't feed my appetite for, you know, wanting to keep going with the game. Like, after you beat the game, you really just have to start a new file and do something else, do a different challenge, because there's nothing to do after. And I wish they could have saved it by just simply adding a new game plus, and then that could count as post game, because I heard a lot of people count that as post game content. So I mean, that's what I would do. But I mean, just disappointing the lack of post game content there was. Now, I'm not saying I wanted a full on, you know, data fights. Let's see, like, you know, a whole bunch of stuff besides, you know, secret bosses, like maybe some side quests or here and there. Like, no, I'm not asking for a full, you know, boatload of content. I just wanted a little bit more, like 2 more bosses more, and I would have been okay. Now I'm going to call this category side stuff, because as I said, there's 2 different types of players that decide to do things after the game, after they beat the game, and then people that do, you know, while they're just kind of on their journey. Now, why I consider a lot of stuff you do, like for instance to get the ultimate weapon or doing all these minigame side things, is because you don't, like, they're unlocked and they're at your leisure of playing them during the game. They're not only unlocked after the game. So that's why I'm calling it side stuff. But there is a lot of stuff to do in the game itself. Now, I think there's, like, for instance, there's a lot of minigames. Like Twilight Town, you got the bistro where you can try to crack an egg and fail. I'm just kidding, but I won't lie. When I first tried to crack an egg, I destroyed the egg. Like, I just was manhandled that egg, and then in the very next try, I tried opening it very slow, and then completely failed again. So I mean, it was an interesting time. But they're fun. They're a little fun, you know, little mini games that you could do. And then you have the classic mini games of finding all the posters, or even opening chests and getting the mini games, which people are iffy about those classic mini games, but I in turn like them because I always like those little Game & Watch style mini games. So those are really fun in my opinion. Then you got the Fantastic 7, which numerous people didn't like them. I did. I in fact really did enjoy them. But I mean, I will say one that I did not like was the Honeydew, where you had to, it was in Big Hero 6, you had to jump and from flan to flan, and then pretty much it got to a point where you would go so high to where you start gliding, and when you glide down, when you have to move, Sora either moves very, very fast or very slow out of nowhere, and irritated me because I would always miss the flan out of nowhere and then fail it, and you need about a 14,000 score to get past it, so that did get irritating. But I enjoyed most of the mini games. I thought they were really fun. And then we have the pirate ship stuff where you can, you know, go island to island finding treasures and stuff, which that isn't really a mini game, but I consider it a side thing just because leveling up your ship and everything, which I gotta say, I'll get into this more when I discuss the worlds, but I have to say I really enjoyed the pirate ships. I really did. I enjoyed just the whole aspect of them. And when you go to the bottom, I believe it's the bottom right corner of the map, the waves, they say, start getting turbulent, and it's kind of like a boss fight, like a fleet battle, and I thought that was really, really cool. But I liked everything about it, to be quite honest. And then, let's see, we have the Big Hero 6 mini games where it's like that VR simulator where you go through all the rings and everything. You can do those. I will say I was a little bit disappointed in the mini games in 100 Acre Woods because they were literally the same mini game 3 times, but just with different variation, with either the Gopher, Winnie the Pooh, or I forget one of the ones. I really didn't care for the world, to be honest. I skipped it because I didn't care, but I just wanted to go in there on accident because I went to Twilight Town and wanted to do a mini game for the bistro, and then out of nowhere that started, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So then I was forced to do it, but still did not like 100 Acre Woods. I will get into that later once again. But yeah, let's see, what else did you have for mini games? The dancing mini game in Kingdom of Corona was pretty fun. The finding all the treasures in the little sled down the mountain in Arendelle was pretty fun. I really liked that one. I mean, there's so many other ones. There's probably some more mini games I'm not really thinking about, but still, there was so much side stuff you could do, as well as, you know, making the Ultima Blade, doing all this and that. Like, it was fun. It was honestly fun. And yes, I would include Gummi ships in this, but I kind of want to keep that as a category on its own. But I will say, like, finding, you know, the treasures and all that, and the constellations were a fun thing. Oh yeah, and the lucky emblems, there we go. Of course, the obvious one of all is finding all the lucky emblems. I found all 90, and it was kind of annoying because sometimes they're like, well, it's a lucky emblem over here, and then you're out there looking for 20 minutes, like, bitch, where, you know? And I was just sitting there looking for it, but still, the whole bunch of stuff that you could do, and I would give it, honestly, in my personal opinion, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, just for, I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 because there is that lackluster 100 Acre Woods mini games that were like all the same thing, but honestly, I think a 9 out of 10 is fair. Now, my favorite part of Kingdom Hearts 3 that I was looking forward to the most, and that was Gummi ships, and I gotta say this is the best in the series before I even talk about what you could do, and they're 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 just because of how much of a just improvement it was in past games. Kingdom Hearts 1, it was just simply going from world to world. There really was no point in doing it after. There was really nothing to it, to be honest, but I still enjoyed it. Kingdom Hearts 2 had a little bit more mission-based stuff that you could do, trying to get a high score and all that, and it was just, I don't know, the way it was played was a lot better. Kingdom Hearts 3, it was free roam. You could go from world to world. You could fight enemies. You could find constellations. You could, you know, destroy a whole bunch of Astros, find these crystals, level up your Gummi ship, customize it where you can literally create the Millennium Falcon. You could create, like, let's see, I've seen someone create Metal Gear. I've seen someone make a little Chocobo styled Gummi ship, which was really awesome. And I mean, just the customization options are so freaking just massive. You could do whatever you want, level it up all the way. I don't even know what the highest level is. I haven't got to that point because after I beat Omega, which, yes, there's a secret boss in the Gummi ship area, which is cool. You get to the final part, I'll explain this, but you get to the final part before you enter the Keyblade Graveyard, that part where you face the boss, like pretty much where you start off where you embark on your journey. Once you fight the boss and get your way out of the place that you were in, there is 5 4-star bosses around the whole entire area. There's one on each side, and then there's one on the top and one on the bottom. There's one on the bottom, and then you're going to go all the way to the top because there will be these little light bars that pretty much is like the Death Star, and it lights up on all sides. Once you get all sides lit up, you go to the top, and there's Omega ready to be battled, which I thought was really, really cool. I was level 54 when I defeated him, or level 55, one or the other, but still, he wasn't that tough to defeat, but it was the fact that there was a secret boss in the Gummi ship area. Like, that was really, really cool. But besides from that, if you like doing the Kingdom Hearts 2 styled Gummi missions, then those were there. You know, each of the enemies, they showed their starred, like, battle level, I guess you could say. You could go to them and then it'd start off, you know, like defeat all these Heartless in a certain amount of time, or it was like defeat as many enemies as you can. You can get a, I don't know what's the highest rating you could get to, because I've only been able to get to an A. I don't know what's past that, but I think A is a pretty good rating, because as soon as you get to A, your Gummi ship starts to look like it's about to explode. But I don't really know what they're trying to accomplish there. But yes, there's so much stuff you could do in the Gummi ship missions. Like, it's awesome. I mean, find the treasures, find the constellations, beat Omega, and just even after that, you can just fly around just to fly around, shoot all the Astros. Get yourself some Keyblade materials to forge your Keyblade even further, because that is the perfect place to find, I think it's called Damascus, as well as Fluorite. And you can find all these materials in the Gummi ship missions. And the thing is, people that don't play the Gummi ship missions are missing out because they don't go there. So they're missing out on, you know, leveling up every single Keyblade max level, if you would want to do that. But even just leveling up your Keyblade in general, like, you can find all these materials in the Gummi ship area. So as I said, the rating for Gummi ships, 10 out of 10. It was such a blast playing them, and I enjoyed them. Now, the worlds of Kingdom Hearts 3, I will say every single world, now you kind of already heard me spew a little bit of it, but the worlds were awesome. Every single world was awesome except for Arendelle. I did not enjoy Arendelle, and I will also say this, I did not enjoy Twilight Town and 100 Acre Woods as much as I was hoping. Twilight Town, for the reason I expected every place to still be there. For some reason, they changed the way, obviously, you know, they probably renovated Twilight Town. They saw a hole in the wall, was like, okay, gotta patch this up. So there was a different way to get there. But I was hoping the Sandlot would still be there, where we could go, you know, go there, face Cypher, or not even Cypher, didn't even have to be Cypher, but maybe go and play Struggle. Go to the usual spot, you know, where we seen Roxas and the gang the very first time. I thought that was really, really cool, but there was not that. It was just literally 2 parts. You go from, like, on your way to the Haunted Mansion, or you go just where everything else is, in a little hub world, and that was it. No Sandlot, no usual spot, no back alley, no nothing. Like, it's all gone, which was kind of depressing, and I almost was afraid when I seen this, like, at first, because after I beat the game and I was thinking about it, I was like, man, Twilight Town was really just cut down to a shell of itself, and I almost forgot that there was that little Heartless horde that you had to fight, and I was just like, okay, goddamn, what was there even to do in this game? But then after replaying, I was like, oh, okay, I remember. I was afraid at first, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in that, as well as the Mysterious Tower. But it was kind of a different situation with that one, just for the reason that, obviously, if we were to go there and it was a fully fleshed out world, what are we going to do again? Fight enemies to get up to the Incense Tower? Like, at this point, there shouldn't be any Heartless there, just for the reasons, like, that's like a main place that Sora, Riku, like, every single Guardian keeps going there. Why would Heartless would stop? Like, Heartless ain't gonna go there. They ain't about that smoke anymore. They don't want it. They don't want any of that. So it makes sense. It honestly makes sense why it's just a cutscene world. Now, Radiant Garden, however, this is where I got a little bit sad. Radiant Garden has my suspicions were rides before, like months before the game came out. I said Radiant Garden was going to be a cutscene only world from the way it looked. I was correct. I was sad because the lack of Final Fantasy characters showed itself. But with Radiant Garden being a cutscene only world, Mysterious Tower being a cutscene only world, which I'm not gonna count that one towards the damper of the rating, but then Twilight Town and 100 Acre Woods pretty much being useless in my opinion, and then Arendelle pretty much being a world where you're watching the movie, which was irritating. But I mean, I get it. Some parts made up for it, but overall, it's just like, I mean, okay, I guess. Now with the 4 of those, and this is not going to be a big damper on the rating, because these are kind of just my personal, issues with it, but I kind of, in my head, I understand, the reasoning behind Radiant Garden and Twilight Town, as well as Mysterious Tower being how they are, but I didn't like Arendelle that much. But still, it's not going to be a big damper because there's small issues. It's still a 9 out of 10 because there's so much better worlds beside them, in my opinion at least. Especially, like I said, with Toy Box, Kingdom of Corona, Monstropolis, and San Francisco, as well as Pirates. Still, the other ones, they were just done so well, and I applaud them for how they did it. Olympus it wasn't too bad, but I don't know. That wasn't my favorite world, but still, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I think that's a proper score for the worlds. Now, the music, 10 out of 10. I mean, honestly, we could move on from here, but Face My Fears, Don't Think Twice, and then literally every single theme within the game. I wish we could hear more Scala ad Kylum theme, but that got interrupted literally within seconds of me exploring the world, because you couldn't explore the world, which I'm disappointed about, because when Xehanort, the man, was like, Scala ad Kylum, and then you see this humongous world, we only get to see a little bit of it, and then the boss fight starts, and literally that's it. Like, but there's one detail: if you guys in the armored fight against armored Xehanort, there's actually a part where, you know, once it gets flipped to where you can go in the water, you can see the clock tower from Daybreak Town. Nice little, you know, treat right there. You can take that how you want to. I thought that was really cool. But still, the themes of every single world, even from what I heard of Scala ad Kylum, which there's a full version on YouTube if you guys want to see that, but it was just awesome. Every single thing, I got drawn into the music. It was just, I loved it. Face My Fears is still a bop, obviously, and then Don't Think Twice playing at the end. I cried. I literally cried. I'll talk about the ending, the epilogue, and all that. That'll be a category of its own, just because why not? But yes, 10 out of 10. There's no discussion. Anyone who disagrees can go suck one. They can go suck a darkness. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously though, 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Now the epilogue and secret movie. Now I'm not really going to count this towards a rating. We'll get into my actual final verdict of what I'm giving this game. But the epilogue and secret movie was freaking amazing. First off, obviously the ending of Kingdom Hearts, I want to say where I got emotional from. When Isa, Lee, well, let me just say, first you see Lee, Roxas, and Xion, they got outfits, man. They had outfits, and I was like, oh my god, they looking beautiful, but where their ice cream at? And then I see Isa. When he pulled up with the ice creams, I bawled tears. Tears flew down. I couldn't contain them. I was already so emotional from beating the game and just like, oh my god, I did it. And then all of a sudden I see everyone in outfits and I'm like, oh, this is so wonderful. But then the man came out with ice creams and yeah, it was done. It was done. Your boy was out there bawling tears. You could call me Steph Curry with the crying, because yes, I was hitting every single tear on mine. It was depressing, but I loved every single moment. Until Kairi and Sora, and then I was like, what the fuck, this bitch really got Sora killed, where he at? And then this is where we go into the secret movie and epilogue. Let me just say, epilogue, I loved it. I loved it because Xigbar was my second favorite, probably no one knew this, but my second favorite Organization 13 member. And the fact that that man is Lucia, whoo boy, that stuff, that threw me for a loop. But then again, it didn't. I thought he was a Master of Masters, or Lucia. I thought he was one of the two. I was hinting more to Masters of Masters, just for the reason I thought their personalities really kind of matched each other. And now that, you know, we heard that Xigbar said that was one of my many, you know, pretty much forms that he took, because he must have changed a lot. And now I'm wondering what other, he could have been a lot of people under our noses and we didn't even know, but evidently he took a lot of different identities throughout his time. But still, hearing that and hearing that that's possible, the Master of Masters theory wasn't a bad one, because, you know, sometimes he did say that even though my identity has changed, I'm still the same in here. That his personality matched the Master of Masters so much that I thought, hey, that would have made sense. It wasn't a bad guess, but Lucia was the second best, because what he said, well, at least we're having all the foretellers except Ava. We don't know where she is. She could be dead. She could be doing her own thing. We don't know. Or do we? I don't play Union Cross. If there's something, you know, in the past coming weeks or something that I just said that weird. But still, if there's something in Union Cross that I have not read or something, and you know the whereabouts of Ava, then, well, let me know. But then young Eric is bringing up the new game with young Xehanort, and it's going to include 7 black pieces. Obviously, kind of pointing to, well, at least with the symbols we've seen, pointing to the foretellers as well as Lucia. But that only equals 5 because Ava is indeed missing. So who's going to be the next 2 pieces? Is Master of Masters going to come back, or is Maleficent and Pete going to be a part of this? Because, I mean, they're still relevant for some goddamn reason. They just, I don't know why they're still here. Honestly, I'm getting kind of annoyed at the fact that Pete and Maleficent are able to do so much behind the scenes and not get caught by anyone. Literally, like, they're not accomplishing anything to the story. They literally didn't do anything but look for a box the whole entire game of Kingdom Hearts 3. And then in this epilogue, they're literally there in the background, but still didn't do nothing. So like, they're there for the story for no reason. But are they going to be the part of the 7? Like, is that what we're seeing? But still, this new game, and then we see Sora as well. Like, we've seen this piece. We didn't see the rest of the lights, so we don't know if there's going to be more tagging along. But still, I think it's really cool. It sets up whatever the new game's going to be perfectly. But then the secret movie does it as well, which I think the secret movie might be a next like side game installment maybe, but if not, that'd be cool, because literally we have we have Sora in what looks to be The World Ends With You. Looks like that's going to be the world they're going to be in, but then I didn't care about that side of it. Honestly, I want to play as Riku in the next one because of who, yeah, you guessed it, that what is it, Yozora is going, like the Final Fantasy 13 little revenge stuff that we've seen in Kingdom Hearts 3, like that stuff is crazy. But one quick thing that I seen is that we see in the trailer, at least for the secret movie, at least for Riku's side, we see that that place is where in the game, well, I'll first say this. First off, in the game, that is where Final Fantasy Versus 13 or even Final Fantasy 15, that is where the Citadel is, and that's kind of Insomnia, that's their place, that's their home. But that's also a real place in Japan, as well Sora was, you know, and it was Shibuya. I don't play that game, so I do not know anything about it, but still, they're both in real life areas. So obviously where Sora is, it's more likely for The World Ends With You, just for the reason they have the 104 instead of 109 like it is in real life. But that tower is the same as well as the tower in the part where Riku is. That's a real life tower. But still, the part that got me going in the secret ending is the part where Riku actually, as soon as he starts walking, Somnus plays, which Somnus is a instrumental that was first made specifically for Final Fantasy Versus 13. And when I heard that, for a slight second, it sounded so beautiful. But now I was like, if that is actually a whole world or story or just something in Kingdom Hearts 4 or Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance 2 or something, or just Kingdom Hearts side game, I don't know, insert name here game, but still, if that's a part in it, oh boy, I want to play with Riku a lot more than Sora. I'm telling you that right now. Make it a Pokemon Red and Blue style game, and I'll buy Riku's version all day instead of Sora's, because I am more, like, as you guys know, I'm a Final Fantasy fan, so if I can get my Final Fantasy Versus 13 and actually get like somehow a Kingdom Hearts styled version of that, I'll be happy with it. It seems so good that if that's gonna happen, hey, I'm happy with it. And I've seen some people say that this whole entire like Nomura pretty much looking like this is a whole revenge title, like Kingdom Hearts 3 is more of a revenge title towards Final Fantasy 15 and the whole entire just Tabata and that just whole ordeal and all that, which people are not understanding the whole situation behind that, which I'm not even going to get into it, but they need to go back and read some articles and stuff, because they're missing some key points of at least every argument I'm seeing. But they didn't like the aspect of that seemed like it was a revenge title, which, I mean, it's no big deal to me. I didn't think it hindered the story at all, but that's just me. But Secret Movie and Epilogue was freaking awesome. But the final verdict for Kingdom Hearts 3, in my opinion, is a 9 point. We'll give it a 3. No, yeah, let's give it a 0.3, just because of the reason that, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, but still, 9.3. That is my highest rated Kingdom Hearts, just because Kingdom Hearts 1 was a 9, Kingdom Hearts 2 was a 9, and then the rest were kind of like 8s and lower. Obviously, Union Cross is a 0.77 minus 90, because I hate that game. But still, every Kingdom Hearts is pretty much, I would say, 5 and upwards. You can kind of guess where they stand. Other than Union Cross, you know where that is. But still, 9.3 is not a bad rating in my opinion. I do enjoy every single aspect of the game, music and all. It had its flaws, obviously. With if they do release a final mix, and they're going to, it's already been announced and all that, well, at least he's talked about it in the past. It's not officially been announced, but if they do plan on doing one and they do go on with it, it will, for me, probably fix every single issue, as well as for other people. But it'll add that difficulty, it'll add the post-game content, and that'll bring it up to a 9.7, to a capable, I would say 9.9. It's not going to be possible to bring it to a 10 unless they somehow make some more of Twilight Town be explorable, or I don't even know if they add Sephiroth into the game or have some sort of Final Fantasy character appear. You know, that's the only way they could make it a 10 out of 10 for me. But other than that, it was a masterpiece anyways, a well worth the wait of my inner child. And I'll hear this out. My inner child waited 13 years. My adult self waited 5. It was well worth the wait for both. My inner child cried bitter tears. My adult child also cried bitter tears. And I was very happy. Well worth the wait. It honestly it was such a blast playing, regardless of all the flaws. People coming out of nowhere saying it's unfinished, blah blah blah. It's not hindering my opinions at all in the game. It was freaking awesome and I loved every single minute of it. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully my review wasn't too much of a ramble, but I just had to speak my thoughts, and it's been a while since I talked to you guys anyways. And also thank you for 2,000 subscribers. I'm pissed I wasn't able to actually celebrate that the moment it happened, but this whole hiatus just kind of caught me off guard, and I'm sad that I missed it. Like, I'm supposed to see this when it happens, but it caught me off guard, and I'm sad. But still, expect some 2K apparel. Yeah, I was planning on doing that for a while, but 2K when it hits, since it hit, we're getting some 2K apparel. I just need to make a design, but still, we're gonna see what happens. But hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Hopefully you guys are enjoying Kingdom Hearts 3 as much as I did, or at least hopefully you guys did enjoy Kingdom Hearts 3 as much as I did. But you guys know the drill. I will see you guys later.